Hi folks, I've got a Sofirn HS20 to have a look at, or should I say another one. I'll come back to what I mean by that in a moment, but let's get the box out of the way. Manual, some spare O-rings and a USB-C charging. And what's immediately apparent is we've got this dual emitter arrangement. But let's have a quick look at the operation first, which is really simple. One click on, and if we're not in turbo, it's one click off. From the on position, one hold, and we cycle through our 3 low, medium and high. As mentioned, one click takes us off. Double click takes us to turbo. Once in turbo, one click doesn't turn the light off, one click turns us back to where we were, and then another click off. Really simple. And here's the good part, the same with the other. Exactly the same operation, and we can have both on. And you can adjust the level however you want of each one of these two emitters, including, if you want to be really insane, you can have both of them on you can have both of them on turbo if you like. So you can have endless fun mucking around and kind of configuring that beam profile however you wish. USB-C charging. Don't lose this. Don't do the type of thing that I would do. There's your USB-C. Like I said, don't lose that. And just unscrew and take your battery off there. Your battery isn't it? Battery off. Unscrew that, take the cap off. Use a replaceable battery. Now, jumping back to this lens configuration, you've got two choices, which is why I said another one. We've got an LH351D on this side here, and you get that LED in both versions of the HS20. And this emitter here is a 90 CRI. It produces a really, really pleasant light. Me personally, I'm really starting to move towards the more higher CRI range, and I really do like this beam profile and the high CRI aspect. On the other side, you've got a couple of choices. You can have the Cree 50.2 version, or you can have the luminous SFT 40. You've got a little bit of an orangey peel type of reflection in there. And the idea behind that is when you're using the light, yes, you've got your little high CRI, and that the beam from this, and it's the same for both, the beam for this is a really floody beam. There is no defined hot spot, so that's kind of your closest range type beam. And then your 50.2 or SFT emitter is your variable choice. Your Cree 50.2, kind of a little bit more throwy, a little bit higher on the power, but the SFT version wasn't available at the time when I got the 50.2. It is now, and the SFT, if you're not aware, it's the de-domed, more throwy version of the SST 40. So whilst the 50.2 was more throwy than the 351, the SFT is much more throwy. So with this particular one I've got, there's a much more pronounced difference between the two profiles. So we've got this very floody type beam and then a very throwy type beam. But we'll show you that when we get ourselves outside and have a look. So let's have a jump to the manual and see what that tells us. So we can see we've got the couple of choices that I mentioned there, the XHP 50 or the SFT 40, with or without the battery. But scrolling down, and I suppose you can pause and look at this at your leisure, can't you? I'm just going to pick out the kind of key parts. So there's the two versions that I've mentioned, and Sofirn have kind of summarised this up. The previous gives more lumens, that's the 50.2, and the latter gives a long beam distance. I guess that sums it up in pretty succinctly. USB-C rechargeable, rugged construction, your usual stuff, step down, and the specifications. This is the bit that you'd probably need to concentrate on a little bit when you're making a choice between these two lights. And what we're looking at the moment here is the technical parameters for the version that we're looking at today, which is the SFT version, and sort of what type of output we've got. And as you can see on turbo, it's 1600, high is 700. That's on the SFT versus the LHD. So on the high mode, we've got 700 and 400, and of course you can have both on at the same time, high if you wanted to. 1600 and 1000, and you can have both on at the same time if you want them to. And then you've got these variables where you could just muck about, and you know, you can have one on turbo and one on medium, for example. You know, endless fun with that. In comparison with the 50.2 version, it's the same LH351, so there's no difference there, but you can see we've got a little bit more power there, haven't we, on the high mode and the turbo, 900 and 2300 versus 700 and 1600. Again, pause that and have a look if you wish. And some nice pictures there should give us a little bit of an idea if you wanted to have a look at Sofirn's web page. But I think we can do a bit better than that, can't we? Let's go out and have a look. So I've got the HS20 with the SFT emitter in there, and if you've seen my review on the HS20 with the 50.B emitter in it, I really liked that light. I like this one a lot more. It wasn't available when I brought the 50.B version, and it should become apparent now when I show you why and show you the difference between the two emitters. So we're starting off with the Samsung. As you can see, close range, quite a floody beam with that lovely high CRI. Really important that is to me nowadays. And scroll through, and there's our high mode, not turbo, high, but no distance. We're throwing a really nice high CRI, comfortable beam pattern in our immediate area, and then turbo if we need it. Absolutely love this little light for this profile. Now let me turn that one off. Not high CRI. This is the SFT 40, and it should be obvious now the difference between the two. But what we've got now is a much more pronounced throwy tight beam, and then the turbo. I mean, look at that. This is what the HS20, in my humble opinion, should have been. And if you're going to buy one of these, folks, get the SFT version. It's a no-brainer to me. Back down to high, off, and then the floody beam. So I was actually quite pleased when somebody nicked my old HS20, because that wouldn't have prompted me to go and have a look to buy another one. That's how much I liked it. It got nicked, and I went to go and buy another one, and I saw that the SFT version had come out. I'm like, I'm having one of those, and this is why. And you can even have them both on at the same time, on turbo, both of them if you like. I don't think it's going to do your battery life any good, but yeah, you can have both on, turbo, non-turbo, both off. Back up to high, and it'll remember where it was, so when I turn it off and I next turn it on, it'll turn back on again where I left it. In this case, high for both. There we go. You've got to get yourself one of these headlights, folks. It is the best headlight that I have come across. I'll take it to a different spot and show you some more footage. So a touch further on now with the HS20 using the Samsung emitter with its kind of floody type beam. I'm on high, not turbo, so let me show you where I am first, and then scroll through our modes. So they're very, very good for close work. We've got turbo if we want it. It's kind of getting into that distance for us, but let me move. One click takes us back to where we were, so high. Let me turn that off. Scroll through. Low. Comes over to high. As you can see, that's a lot more throwy. The colour temperature is completely different as well. That should leap out at you. We can have both on if we want. Let's put a little bit of distance on, and now add turbo. Do you know, I really do much prefer the SFT over the 50.2. They were just too similar before, in my humble opinion, but now we've got two emitters that really do offer something completely different. Turn that one off. You see even the turbo's not kind of doing it, is it? And certainly not the high. And yet that SFT. So as mentioned, I already like this light a lot with having the two emitters. I really do like it now with having that, at least to my mind, that fantastic difference between the two options. You really have got two lights in one. Well, three actually, because you can have both on at the same time. I love this little light, I really, really do. It goes everywhere with me. Catch you soon, folks.